Funky.
What's good? It's your boy Shy, aka Mr. Get Your Buzz Up, here with Get Your Buzz Up. I'm here with the beautiful K.Flay. How are you doing?
I'm great. It's raining outside now.
It's raining.
It wasn't before. It's always shocking when you enter a building and it's not raining, and then you exit the building and it's raining. I find that very jarring psychologically.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it's kind of cold out too, isn't it?
It is cold. Madison,
Wisconsin,
why are you
it's Wisconsin.
It was so beautiful this morning.
It's Wisconsin.
We went running on the water. It was very nice.
And now it's raining.
Now it's raining.
And now it's cold.
Now it's kind of cold. It's okay though. I think the show's gonna be good.
The show is gonna be dope. There's gonna be a lot of people here. It's
I
gonna
hope
be
so.
close to being sold out.
You think?
I already know. I asked about the pre-sale numbers and what they're expecting for the walk-up. So it's gonna be
Okay.
You're gonna be looking at pretty close to a sold-out show here.
I never really know. I'm just glad if anyone shows up.
Now I feel that. I feel
know.
that. But it's gonna be a dope show.
Well, all right.
You're gonna get a lot of energy from
Okay.
from Madtown. So
That's good.
But how's the tour going?
The tour has been great. Tonight's a little bit of a different show for us because we're playing with Greaves. So last night, I had toured with Greaves previously, 2 years ago or something, 2.5 years ago. And last night in Minneapolis, we joined up to do a show. Tonight in Madison, we're playing together. But the rest of the tour has just been us actually with a couple of different groups. But it's been awesome. It's the first real run where we're playing like a long set and we're really digging into the new record. And I was on Warped Tour this summer, which was its own crazy experience. Yeah. But it's only a 30-minute set, so this is kind of nice. You get to like settle in. It's more of an evening, and it's nice not playing at 11 in the morning.
Yeah,
at times. It's crazy. I was like chugging coffee on stage, which is unheard of for me.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. I wouldn't wish that about anybody. That's crazy. So what are the so far throughout the tour? What's been the best part of the tour?
I think the best part of the tour has been just seeing people, like even as the shows kind of progress, seeing people knowing the words and being familiar with the songs more and more. It's been a pretty tangible slope. I think, the record's been out for a little bit. It came out at the end of June, but it's still, I think a lot of people are discovering it, and that's kind of what I was hoping for, like a slow burn and people finding out organically, not because of you're supposed to like it.
Yeah, that tends to give you more of a long-lasting fan base when it's built like that. So, You left a major label and decided to be independent, and then released your first album independently.
Yeah.
Super dope for that, because I'm all about artists being independent and doing as much as they can on their own. But one, it's kind of unheard of for that to happen. Usually they release an album, they're not happy, then maybe split ways or release a couple albums. You did it completely against the grain and decided you were really going to put this out independently. How were you able to break through some of the barriers that a lot of artists, have to go through, just being independent, period?
Well, I think, in a weird way, signing with the major, it was at a point where I was really just starting to like do music seriously, and there was sort of this like flurry of activity and all this interest and a lot of cool things happening. And after I signed, I was sort of in a state of limbo over there, which at the time felt incredibly frustrating and kind of demoralizing. But as I look back on it, sort of in a weird way, a good thing, because I ended up just being like, well, there's nothing for me to do aside from put out material sort of that isn't a full-length record, which the label never cared about. They were like, whatever, do whatever you're gonna do, which was cool of them to let me at least do what I wanted to do. And I also toured a lot, and I think the combination of having like, a pretty substantial back catalog before this record came out, and a lot of touring, a lot of like 10-person shows somewhere. But in a great way, and I think so by the time that I got off the label, there was like an actual kind of a real fan base, and I
Yeah.
think in a strange way I had developed a lot of the tools that I would need as an independent artist in terms of, you know, booking and doing all my own web design, artwork, and things
Yeah.
like that. So it was just kind of all in the pipeline, so that by the time I left, it was like, okay, well, we kind of know how to do this, so let's just do
go.
it. Yeah.
Life of a Dog. How did you come up with that title?
It was actually a SoundCloud like playlist I sent to my manager. I think I was feeling depressed. I felt like a dog. I felt like I'd been like, you know, left out in the rain,
Yeah.
kind of, and then like pawing at the door. But I think as I kind of like was thinking about different titles, you know, it's sort of, there's obviously like the sort of oppressed component of it, but there's also the like empowered, you're like a lone wolf kind of thing. And I
Yeah.
think, you know, in some ways the spirit of that is present in the record too. So it seemed fitting for me. And I'm actually historically quite bad with titles. So if I find something that's like, okay,
Then
I'm like,
just-
yeah, if it
just
ain't
run
broke,
with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
just go with it. Nick, you'll never think of something better.
I got you. So, like I said, it was really such a dope feeling to come across a dope artist, but then doing research and tons of things about you. One of the things that caught my eye is you started making music because you were tired of hearing the same garbage repetitively on the radio. That was one of the things that really got you to say, okay, I'm going to do this because I'm sick of hearing all this bullshit on the radio. So when did you decide that you were going to take it from, okay, this is a fun thing to do, to this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
You know, it's kind of hard to pinpoint a moment as I look back, because it's been such a slow, like, I feel like I'm rolling, like I've been like somersaulting slowly for like 5 years or something.
Okay.
And there've just been a variety of things that have sort of like nudged me in the direction of continuing to do this, and I've like acquiesced to that kind of
Okay.
fatalism or something. So, I mean, but essentially I was in college. I was just playing stuff on campus, still, had no kind of ambitions of doing music professionally or trying to. And it wasn't until I was out of school for about like a year and a half that I actually started really playing shows in the Bay Area and taking my production more seriously and learning kind of how to perform properly, because I didn't even really know how to do that. And I think in a sense just putting in the time and putting in the hours in that period. So, that was probably like 5 years ago when I really started to at least think it was possible to make this something that would potentially usurp my regular job, which luckily it has, at least for the time being. I don't know what's
I don't think you're gonna have a problem.
Well, it
making
may
this
parlay into something else. We'll see. Who knows?
Like what?
I don't know. I love reading. I don't know how I can
don't
get
know.
paid to do that.
If you find a way to get paid from reading, then I need to start doing some business ventures with you, because that's a creative way to make some money.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I could write about I don't think I could write a fiction book, but I think I can write nonfiction pieces. So maybe I'll start writing essays. So you heard it here.
She's gonna start writing essays.
Quite an exclusive.
K.Flay's done rapping right now. We're done. She's gonna do this show and we're done. We're not even finish the tour.
I'm also fixated by this sticker. The plural of vinyl is vinyl. It's like feet.
It is.
But I know foot is the single foot, but like multiple feet are still feet.
Yes.
Okay, it's not totally.
You know what I'm blown away by?
What?
How they got those stickers up there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No idea how they pulled that off. Well, I've been trying to figure that out the entire time. I booked shows here.
Oh my God.
And
Were the
I've never
beams
seen that before.
imported?
I have no idea. I've never seen that before.
Wow,
So
that's incredible.
yeah.
You guys can't really see, but like 20 feet above us, there are stickers.
We'll have to have the cameraman turn
Yeah,
the camera
yeah,
up
we
at
gotta-
some point. But that was funny.
It is crazy.
You went to school for psychology.
Yes.
How does that help you or hurt you when you're doing music? Like, what is When you're creating the songs, do you sometimes get too much in your head and think about that, or how to?
I think overall it's a good thing. I mean, I think in general, and this is like, after having toured with so many different kinds of artists, especially because like, my stuff doesn't really fall into a discrete genre. So we've toured with like, we've spanned the gamut. And I think in talking to everybody, I think the important thing as a lyricist, at least in my mind, is to sort of just be like a participant in the world and like an amateur psychologist in a way, both in terms of yourself and others. And I think like, for me, I think like details make songs and all pieces of writing great, like strange details and maybe a predilection for them. And so I think it does help. I think it helps me stay attuned to like certain things that are compelling and like help me start songs. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So that was sort of, I kind of meandered there for a minute. I don't know what I was talking about.
That's all good.
It's okay.
We're good. So what some people might not know is that, and you spoke a little bit about it already, is that the fact that you're an artist and a producer.
Yeah.
What's that like, doing both and creating your music and so on and so on?
It's cool. I mean, I started doing production out of total necessity. I had nothing to sing over, or rap over, and so I started learning. And I found that the times when I was uninspired lyrically, I was like super inspired sonically, and vice versa. So it's kind of a nice trade-off. It sort of feels like I can be done with one job and then start another one in a cool way. And I think for me, it's also been in my time at the label. I definitely worked with a lot. They had me in the room with a lot of different producers, which was also really interesting. And I think, although none of those really, or many of those things, did not come to fruition, I learned a lot along the way, about the different ways that people produce, how I like to produce, the things I don't like to do. And what's cool for this record was, a couple of the songs are just me, but the rest are co-productions. Okay. And that's really, I think, what I like to do is kind of in an old school like rock way, get a song to a certain point, like the demo in my mind is done, and then have a collaborator, someone that I trust, come in and
finish the
and mess with things and say, no, you don't need this. This is weird. Get rid of that. And that's cool to me. I like that. I've discovered that that's like I think it's a good process for me.
Okay. So if you could work with a producer right now as an artist, who would that be?
I am extremely into Shlomo right now. I don't know how familiar you are. He's awesome. And that EP that he and Jeremiah put out is so good. Wow. I just love it. Anyway, so.
Now that's dope. And as a producer, what artist would you want to produce for?
Ooh. Well, I'm not sure how good I would be, but probably. That's a really good question. I'd kind of like to do more of like a rock thing. Like I'd like to do less of like a electronic hip hop thing. I got to think about this.
Ooh.
Because I'm listening to all this stuff right now that's like really interesting. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't like to produce for this person, but I would like to produce with. I'm a huge Tame Impala fan.
Okay.
And I think it would be interesting to have a slightly like indie hip hop perspective in there, because I do think there are elements of it already, even though it's kind of like psychedelic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my answer.
No, I love the two answers.
Okay.
The two answers are dope. It's
They're weird.
Completely like different, and that makes it dope. That's
okay,
wow.
Good.
That's
sorry.
really
I kind
dope.
of took a minute on that, but it's
we're
good
good
to think.
It's benefit of him editing. We're good.
You'll never
We're
know.
good.
I was sitting here for an hour. This interview's taken one day.
Growing up, what was your musical influences? Like, what really made you fall in love with music?
Early on, my dad played a lot of records and a lot of kind of blues, funk, And then just sort of the staples of like 60s and 70s rock, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although not a lot of like Zeppelin or anything like that. I'm actually not historically a very big Led Zeppelin fan.
Okay.
Though as I've gotten older, I like it much more than I did when I was young. My brother liked it. Maybe I didn't like it because my brother liked it, and I wanted to carve my own path. But I think, I can remember like bringing a Parliament record to show and tell in second grade because I liked it because I could dance to it. You know what I mean? And actually, what's interesting is, in a very strange way, I am currently fulfilling like my every childhood fantasy, which is to headbang. I've always liked headbanging. I think because it makes you feel kind of high as a kid.
Yeah.
And it's like the closest, like that's why kids like to get dizzy. You know, you feel kind of like fucked up when you're dizzy. You spin around. So I get to do that now. But I think, there was always an appreciation for music, and music was kind of just a part of, the household culture. And then, of course, I grew up, listening to Michael Jackson and Mariah and all like the classic pop stuff, too.
Okay. Well, this is Shy Mr. a.k.a. Mr. Get Your Buzz Up. We Get Your Buzz Up with K.Flay, and we out. Peace.
That was a seasoning time for me, too. Like, I was just grinding like my ass off. I wasn't getting paid for anything over there. Like, I was touring 8 months out of the year. Like, we were using my van. Like, I was grinding, and I was doing it because I loved to do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about anything else. And I paid tolls for that in my personal life and in like business.
Yeah.